Joy Reid, the wicked weed. I'm sure most of this audience doesn't waste their time watching the primetime garbage on MSNBC, so just in case you don't know, for the last 3 or so years, Joy Reid's hosted a show in primetime on MSNBC. Show is called The Reid Out. They should just name the show Reid Out because most normal people want Joy Reid out of their living room. But before she was given her show in prime time, which some people claim is a form of reparations, Joy Reid spent a few years hosting a weekend show on MSNBC. Before that, she hosted an afternoon show during the week on the same network, which means Joy Reid has over 10 years of experience hosting a program in cable news. Now, there's a reason I'm pointing this out. With over a decade of experience, at this point in her career, Joy Reid should know how to properly conduct an interview. I mean, it's rather simple. This is not hard to understand. You invite a guest on your show, you ask the guest questions, you try to start a conversation. More importantly, you allow your guest to speak. You have 4, maybe 5 other segments to spread your propaganda. You have 4 or 5 other segments to spread your toxic mouth farts. When you invite a guest on your show, it might be a good idea to let them talk. Not Joy Reid, though. No. Joy only allows her guests to speak if they are parroting the same propaganda. Men can have babies. Oh, you're speaking the truth. My platform is all yours. Gender is fluid. It's a concept. Speak, my brother or sister. How are you choosing to identify today? Last Friday night, Joy Reid booked Tiffany Justice on her show. Casey, who in the hell is Tiffany Justice? Is she related to Tiffany Cross the Bongo Sniffer? No. Don't worry. Tiffer the Bongo Sniffer. She didn't change her last name to disguise herself, so she was finally allowed back inside the studios at NBC. Tiffany Justice is one of the co-founders of a group called Moms for Liberty. Now, Moms for Liberty, they are a conservative political organization that fights against the indoctrination of children in public school. They're against kindergarten teachers teaching kids about the magical process of removing the cucumber. They're against non-binary Terry teaching his or her first grade class about critical race theory. The shit fucks. They would describe Moms for Liberty as being antiquated, old-fashioned. I mean, when they send their children to school, they want them learning how to read, write, maybe solve a math problem. When I say math problem, I'm not talking about difficult equations like, if Bob has 2 plums and he subtracts them both, what does that make Bob? It makes he a she! You know, I'll give a little bit of credit to Joy Reid here. I was actually surprised when I saw that she invited Tiffany Justice on her program. For starters, Tiffany Justice lacks diversity. She also co-founded a group that advocates against everything that Joy Reid supposedly stands for. But it didn't take me very long to figure out why Joy Reid extended this invitation. This wasn't about a debate between 2 different ideologies. Once Joy Reid realized that she was being completely humiliated on her own show, it became another example of what parishioners at Woke United Methodist do when they can't defend their own arguments. They silence you. Joy Reid did everything she could to make sure her audience was not exposed to the truth. But before we get to these clips, let's get to the sponsor for today's video, my friends over at Giltech. And by the way, if any of you guys are business owners or decision makers at your company and you want to advertise on the channel, shoot me an email at btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll forward your details to my marketing agent, and if things work out, you eventually get to have a one-on-one conversation with me. But anyway, back to Giltech. Right now, my fiance is in the process of redecorating our house, meaning I am spending a hell of a lot of time in my studio to avoid getting caught in her wrath. My married men out there, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The other day, this was a couple of weeks ago actually, I made the mistake of walking inside to grab something, and I get hit with that question that every man dreads being asked. Honey, can you help me with something? She was putting a new rug on the floor, and she didn't have anything to cut that mat that goes up under the rugs to keep them in place. As luck would have it though, and this is a true story, The day before, I had just received my promotional products from Giltech. I pointed her to the box where we had 12 ready-made blades ready to be used. I mean, she was thrilled. These things are very easy to use, and you just never know when you will need a razor blade around the house. These Giltech manufacture blades, they're lightweight, they easily fit in your pocket, they can be operated with one hand here without even thinking about it. They also make blades specifically designed for left-handed people. They come in an assortment of colors, as you can see here behind me, and best of all, they're affordable. Matter of fact, Giltech's Plastic Series blades, they are the most affordable blades on the market, and everything is 100% made here in America. Giltech is a veteran-owned company, and they vow to keep all of their products made in the USA. Click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL. It'll save you 10% off every order you place with Giltech. All right, Joy Reid, she invites Tiffany Justice on her show to ask why she wants to prevent children from accessing books they need for critical learning. Books like Night Nurses from Jersey, the harrowing tale of a nurse named Shirley who magically transforms into a male stripper named Curly when working nights at Club Shay Shay. Joy Reid opens the segment with what she thought was a gotcha question. I'm going to make this lady look like a dumbass. Of course, there was only one ass involved in this segment, and I don't think it was Tiffany. Watch for yourself.
What is booklooks.com? Moms for Liberty activists are using booklooks.com, and it's essentially a cliff notes for books. You can do keyword searches and find certain keywords.
Like rape?
You can find sure.
Or anal rape or dildo.
You can find all sorts of keywords.
Those types of words. But like
wait, hold on, wait. Let me finish my question. Then
great,
you can answer.
sure.
I'm going to give you time to answer, but I got to ask you first.
No.
Moms for Liberty members are going to places like Broward County School Board meetings, reading out of context passages from these books, and then demanding that the school board remove them. What is the expertise to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school?
I thought it was strange how MSNBC chose to promote this segment on social media. To promote this segment, they quoted the question that Tiffany Justice asked Joy Reid towards the end of that clip I just showed you. The question that Joy Reid never answered. And she didn't answer because there is no justifiable answer to the question. The question was, in what context is a battery-powered cucumber acceptable for public schools? I thought that was an excellent question. When MSNBC promoted this segment on social media, they censored the portion that read battery-powered cucumber. What does that tell you? Well, it tells me MSNBC censored this because they felt it was too provocative, maybe even too offensive for adults, while Joy Reid believes it's appropriate for children. Someone please make that make sense. MSNBC is censoring language for adults, but they want uncensored content for children? The children, it's all about the children. In that clip, Joy Reid was obsessing over context. You're only reading the summary of these books. You're not getting the proper context. The children, the children, they deserve the full context. Yeah, normally I am all about context. 99% of the time, I would actually agree with Joy Reid here. Context is critically important and often overlooked when the mainstream media is twisting something to fit their own narrative. But when it comes to children having access to explicit material, in this instance, material that MSNBC considers to be too explicit to be shared with adults on social media, when it comes to children having access to explicit material, I do not give a fuck about the context. 6-year-olds, they should not be exposed to stories about minor attracted people. KC, what the hell is a minor attracted person? That's their new terminology for adults who are attracted to kids. They're not criminals, they're minor attracted people. The truth is, this segment with Joy Reid, it was a complete waste of time. We should not even be having this debate Since when did we start debating whether elementary school children should be checking out night nurses from Jersey at the school library? Believe it or not, back in the late 80s and 90s, Democrats, they were trying to protect kids from accessing explicit content. Dolores Tucker, Tipper Gore, they were leading the fight against rap music. I don't know about you guys, I'd much rather an 8-year-old be listening to an old Tupac CD than reading stories about Bob with the removed knob. But after she was embarrassed during the first couple of minutes of this interview on her own show, Joy Reid, she went on the defensive. She showed her audience what they should do when they're being completely dominated in a political debate. Silence your opponent by constantly interrupting them. Watch for yourself.
So again, we're talking about incest, rape, and pedophilia.
And each parent, each parent has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. So I want you to answer. I'm going to ask you one more time.
Maybe we could just put all the books with all the graphic sexual content, the dildos, the rape, the incest.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Let's do a back room.
Excuse me.
Let's put a curtain up in the library like they used to do.
One moment.
Remember when we were little and you would go to the video store?
The books that Moms for Liberty.
The books
that Moms for Liberty.
With pornography.
I know that I've seen.
We could just do that in the public library.
I have seen tapes of what Moms for Liberty does, and you all go into school board meetings and you read graphic stuff.
Disingenuous conversation.
No, it's not.
What the hell's the point of having her on your show if you're going to constantly interrupt her? I was waiting for producers to cut her mic. Joy Reid damn near had a convulsion being that close to the truth. She kept mentioning these opt-out forms. Why not just have opt-out forms? That way other kids can exercise their right to be indoctrinated. Yeah, for starters, I would assume that most parents don't have enough trust in the public school system to enforce the opt-out forms. And number two, if you need opt-out forms in the public school library because you're carrying books that are inappropriate for children, that should tell you all you need to know about the content in these books. Have you ever wondered why deacons at Woke United Methodist are fighting so hard on this issue? They know sexual content is not appropriate for kids. They know critical race theory was originally a college-level course. Why are they so intent on teaching it to third graders? This is just my own personal theory. Obviously, kids, they are easier to manipulate. Hell, the media, they have been trying to manipulate adults for the past few years. It ain't working. If they can indoctrinate an entire generation of kids, they will have millions of new members at Woke United Methodist, millions of new members tithing every month, millions of new members fighting the good fight, preaching the good word, millions of new members to peacefully riot at a moment's notice because they won't have the necessary skills to get a real job. And they won't have those skills because they were not taught how to read and write in school. They were only taught how to see color. Joy Reid has 3 children of her own. And what I'm about to say, I am not attacking her parenting style. I would never personally attack someone. I would never do that. And I'm sure Joy Reid is a loving mother to her 3 children. But I would be willing to bet these books that she is advocating for your kids to have access to in public school, she would not want her own children reading these books. But give me your thoughts on this. Joy Reid gets destroyed on her own show. She offers no counter argument to Tiffany Justice, so she relies on the strategy of silencing your opponent when you can't debate them. People in the mainstream media like Joy Reid, do you think they actually believe in the propaganda they promote? Or do you think they are just highly paid mouthpieces? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.